Hi everybody, it's Kathy Andis with Simply Cards by Kathy, and it is Friday, February 4th, 2022. This has been a really exciting week for me because I was the featured stamper within our Stampin' Up group, and the bundle that I featured was in symmetry. So you may have seen the cards that I have below, and I'll show you them a little bit closer. Each day I posted a different card with the measurements, and I even did a PDF tutorial. So today's the last day, and the card I want to show you how to make today is a floating strip card. I think that was, of all of them, the most fun, but I loved them all. I really love this bundle, and I'm in love with the paper. So I'm going to show you each card that I did just briefly, tell you a little bit about it, and then we are going to finish up with the last card of the week. So let me move these out of the way. And this was my first card. It's a SIP card. In fact, my first two cards were SIP cards. I'm going to bring both of them in here for you to see. Simple stamping. It's with stamps, ink, and paper. There's nothing else used here. No dies, no embossing folders, and just had fun with it. Here, I used the Artistry Bloom sequins. They are in our annual catalog, as is this stamp set and paper. I finished up the inside with just, I like to use strips of paper. I do that a lot, usually about a ½ inch or an eighth of an inch, a quarter inch, I'm sorry, or a ½ inch. And these are really good cards for beginners, because you don't need a lot of supplies and you're just using your stamps, ink, and paper. I'm going to move these off. The third card I did was just a fun fold card. I love fun folds, any fun folds. So this one opens up to the left. Again, there is a PDF tutorial for this. And because Best Day Ever could go for anything, birthday, a promotion, retirement. So I left my inside blank so I could either stamp later an appropriate greeting or write just a personalized message to whoever received it. Use the denim ribbon. Everything is from the annual catalog, except the denim ribbon is in our new January to June 2022 mini catalog. So I kind of snuck that in. My fourth card was a double gatefold card. I love this card too. This was a lot of fun to make. And you have a belly band that will keep it closed. So that was another fun one. And then my last one for today was my floating strip card. So this is what we're going to make today. And I just had a lot of fun with this. It was easy to do because I absolutely love this paper. And I have a few samples of it here to show you quick. But they're all cut up and I need to order more. So this is what we're going to do, and we're going to get started. This is the Designer Series paper, and it's Sweet Symmetry. And again, I have just pieces parts, but the prints are beautiful. Colors are primarily Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, the Night of Navy. We have Flirty Flamingo in on this one. Here's your Calypso Coral, and then Flirty Flamingo. Another pattern. And then the last one. So really pretty colors. So I'm going to move those off and bring everything in. I did a little bit of the fussy cutting and work ahead of time. And you notice that my sleeves are covering my hands because I am freezing. It's about 15 degrees here, and we've just had 14 inches of snow in about a 26-hour period. So I am cold, and I did not want to have the little heater I have next to me running and make any noise, so I pulled my sleeves down. So we're going to start with a piece of Night in Navy, and this is a 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at, or will be scored in a minute, at 4 1/4. And then I cut up strips of the Designer Series paper. I have 5 1/4-inch strips, and I have 5 1/2-inch strips, and this will all be in the PDF tutorial for you. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of my card. I have a 2 by 4-inch piece of white for the front for my greeting, and then you'll just need a scrap of paper, and I already did it where I stamped a flower and fussy cut it. So let's bring this over, and we're gonna move these strips off for a minute, and I'm just gonna score this because that was something I forgot to do. Normally, when I do my pre-recorded videos, I edit so that you see a nice clean video. But I have to tell you, I'm not going to do that today, simply because that's not real. I make mistakes, and that's usually what I'm editing them out, but then you don't see, if you make a similar mistake, how to fix it. So I'm not going to do that today. So we're going to go ahead and have some fun, and then I'm going to get this posted up for you with the PDF tutorial, so that maybe if you're inside this weekend like I'm going to be with this weather, you can have some fun crafting. So here's our card, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off so that I can bring in my piece of window strip. So for this card, we're going to do a floating window. Now, we do sell the window sheets, and you get 2 sheets, and I can't remember the price, but it is in our annual catalog. So you can use those and cut them up, and I do. But the other thing I do is I save the window sheets that come with our stamp sets. And what I do is I clean them with either window cleaner to get some of the marks off from the stamps sitting on them, or I just take a I wear glasses, and I have lens cleaner always with me. I'll take one of these and I'll clean them off. And they're great to use, especially for something like this, because even if there's just like a little shadow to it, it's going to be covered up with the paper. So we're going to bring in the cutter, again, our trimmer, and this is going to be cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this little strip off, and then we're going to be able to get started. This is a really fun card, and I have to credit Jackie Boheis for this card because we did it a while back during one of our retreats. And I really hadn't done it yet and decided I was going to use it for this with the paper. So I'm going to set that off, and I'm going to bring in my, I don't know if you can see it. It may be a lot of glare, but it's going to be covered up pretty soon here. So bring in my glue, and here's my strips, and I'm going to alternate them. So pretty much starting at the top, and I'm gonna, and then just kind of pairing them off. I ended up using 9 of the strips 5 of the 1/2 inch, and then I used, what did I use? 4 of the 1/4 inch, and I saved the 5th 1/4 inch to put on the inside of my card. So just kind of arrange them however you like them. What I did was try to pick a floral pattern and then use one of the like background patterns in between. And I tried to see if I could get the color in between the 1/4 inch strip, that the color was in both of the 1/2 inch strips next that it was laying next to. So let's go with this one here. And then I'm going to put this one here because of the navy. And then I'm going to bring in this and this one. So let's just start putting them down so we have an idea. So I'm bringing my silicone mat because I'm an extremely messy with glue, but I tend to use the multi-purpose glue more than anything else. You don't need a whole lot on this, simply because it's you don't want to smear it on the plastic sheet. Now I cut my strips a little bit longer just so that I had some room to, what I'll do is go down with my snips and just trim the ends off once I'm all done. And I just put a little bit of spacing. I kind of used my grid paper, but just as a rough guide. I did not measure anything out. And the glue then allows you to slide your strips for spacing. So there's that one. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was with the stamps. They have the large and small images, and they're just pretty distinctive. They have a lot of detail to them. And in all honesty, this was not a stamp set that I originally looked at getting. But what really appealed to me, if I'm going to be honest, was the designer series paper. But then the more I looked at the paper and looked at the stamp, I thought, boy, there were a lot of different things I felt I could do with it. So that was why I chose the that stamps bundle, the In Symmetry bundle, for my featured to be used during Featured Stamper. So I'm hoping this will give you some inspiration over the weekend, and maybe you'll want to try this. And what's really nice is you don't have to go head out and say, I can't do this because I don't have the window sheets. I'm sure you have some sheets from your stamp sets. And that's actually what I've been using. So we're almost done here. And they're pretty evenly spaced. Now I'm getting to the end, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down my last strip on the edge before I put the middle one down. And again, it's not a perfect science. I did not measure these out for spacing, but tried to get them as even as you possibly can. Okay, so we have our strips down. There's our window card. And I'm going to take a pair of my snips, and I'm just going to go along the edge and trim those off. Okay, perfect. So here's our window, and I'm going to pull in some Stampin' Dimensionals and flip this over, and I'm going to put these on, and I'm going to be careful to put them on where I have my 1/2-inch strips, because that way you will not see them. So I'm going to hit the corners in the middle because I want this to stay popped up. I'm going to take my pick tool and just pull these off. And we're going to go ahead and get this put on. And then we'll do the label, or the finish up the front of our card. I don't know about you, but I get these all over the house, and even in the dog's fur. So move those off. Okay, so we're going to bring in our Night in Navy, and we are going to, I'm going to just trim this a little bit here. Okay, there we go. And let's see if we can get this. That looks good. So there's our floating window, or floating strip. And now we're going to go ahead and bring in our piece to stamp and finish up. So I am pulling in my Flirty Flamingo, and I actually forgot my Just Jade. So I'm going to move this off, and I'm going to bring in my stamps. So I'm going to stamp my stem first with the Just Jade, and I'm going to, because they're photopolymer, I am going to use my matte. Now the reason I stamp my stem first is I found with using this stamp throughout the week that I just really had a better fit with the stem and the stamps if I stamped my stem first, because then I could see and fit it in right in the groove. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and bring in, and I had 2 little stems here, and I used the punch that comes with this. I'm going to bring it in to show you. It's one of the larger ones, and I used a scrap of Just Jade, and I stamped my 2 stems. Now, if you're new with stamping and you don't have all the colors, you do have a stamp in here that you can stamp your leaves. But I just wanted to use the punch and put them up with dimensionals to give it a little bit of dimension. So with these, I am going to bring in my mini dimensionals. And I actually cut these in half because I don't want them to show through. And these are pretty small leaves. So I'm gonna pop one right here. And I'm gonna take the next one and I'm gonna put one down here. And then I'm just gonna bring it in like that. And now we're gonna do the same thing for the other one. Oops. I hope you had fun looking at all the different cards this week. I definitely had a lot of fun making them for everyone. And I'm gonna put this one right here. Okay, now I have a piece of the denim ribbon and it's just a 4-inch piece. And all I'm gonna do is make one little knot and try to flatten out the bow so that I have more of a square knot. And then I'm going to use that to adhere to my card. Bows are not one of my strong points, although the more I do them, I get a little bit better at them. Okay. So I guess that's about as good as it's gonna get. So I'm gonna take a glue dot and put it on the back of my ribbon. And I'm simply gonna put it right here, right at the base of the flower. Okay. And then I'm going to trim my, I guess it's going to go the way it wants to go. So I'm going to trim that off so it's shorter. Now the one thing I found with this ribbon is it frays really easy. So when you're doing your bow, I've had to trim it a couple times in the past because it does fray so easily. So I'm gonna pull that up a minute here and just see if I can flatten that a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll stick it back down. All right, now the last thing is I'm just gonna, for this, I'm gonna stamp my greeting, and that's gonna be in the Night of Navy. To go with our cardstock. That bow looks kind of sick. I'll have to work on it. And with this, I did not use any punches to punch it out. I just fussy cut. And I don't do that a lot, but I've done it more this week, and I really have enjoyed doing that too. So this week's brought some firsts for me. So just gonna go around. I would love if you'd leave me a comment and let me know which of the 5 cards from this week was your favorite. And if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel to help me grow my channel. And Monday I will be back on Facebook with a Facebook Live. Okay, there's our greeting, and I'm gonna pop that one up with dimensionals. Four might be overkill, but that's okay. And then I'm going to pop this right down here. All right, and then I put this on with dimensional, so we're gonna pull those in and we're almost done. We just have the inside of our card to do. We'll have made a floating strip window card. So there's our outside. Now for our inside, I'm just going to use a strip of the paper that I had left over. So it is 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. And let's glue that down, but not on our piercing mat. Now, this is a thank you card, so I did leave the inside blank so that I could write a personalized greeting. And then I used one of the flowers from the stamps and Fussy cut that out, and I'm just going to glue that down. You can see I was practicing for something else I was trying to do with that stamp, but not going to waste it. So just turned it over and reused it. All right, so we're ready to glue our inside down. And we have our floating strip card. So here's our 2 cards. One bow looks a little better than the other, but we'll work on that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, just to kind of finish up with the In Symmetry Stamps set and bundle for this week. And I will have the video up with the PDF tutorial in about 15 minutes. So have a good day, and if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I see you soon.